Hello everyone, welcome to my first devlog, my first development log. Um, so what I'm trying to do is understand how the Unreal Engine works. I have a good understanding of how C++ works and everything that goes inside of it, but I had no idea how the blueprint system worked a few days ago, and overall I've had a good learning experience here. So essentially what I'm trying to do is I'm trying to implement uh, everything that can help me learn more about the engine. So I'm just adding random features, anything that I can find, and this is the stage that I am at right now. So I have a gun that can shoot like that, and I have enemies that have AI to detect me. They have health bars on top of them, and if I shoot them, it shows the damage that I deal them right next to their body, like that. And once they die, they ragdoll and disappear. Same for this big guy. I'm going to change some functionality for him in a bit. And the reason they're standing still at the beginning is because I have changed their AI a bit. But that's fine. I can just turn it on and show you guys how it is supposed to work. Why is this here? This guy is supposed to be in tasks. Alright. So let's go into our controller and so once my AI sees something, it checks if it's sees something. Once my AI senses something, first it checks whether what it's seeing is it's sensing is through its eyes, and next it checks whether it's from sound. So if I go into this function right here, you might be able to see a lot of code that is essentially just verifying that the sense input that the AI is getting is from the targeted actor, which is our player character. And if it's not, we go to the last known location and we set it inside our blackboard. I don't know why I just jumped into that. I think I just needed a quick redo of what I'm doing as well. So if we go into the function here, so once we see the player, well, I did turn something off. I can't remember what exactly I turned off so they don't move. Maybe it's in the behavior tree. Alright. So this is how my AI is working right now. At the beginning, what I do is I check. Alright, let me just turn down the volume a bit. Okay, so at the beginning, I check if the variable targeted actor inside my blackboard is set. If it's not set, what I do is I check for sound. I check if there is an existing sound that the player can go to, I mean the AI can go to. And in order to do that, I'm doing another check. That's for the sound location. It's also defined in my blackboard. If you come right here, you can see we have these variables. So sound location and last known location are vectors. They hold the XYZ coordinates of where the AI last saw the player character. And for the sound, it just it doesn't know which player made that sound or which entity made that sound. All it knows is that this XYZ coordinate, this vector location, is where the sound came from. So if I go back into my behavior tree here, so if you hear a sound, I would like you to move to the sound, wait 3 seconds, and then clear the variable that is storing the sound location. So if I, instead of clearing it, set it to some value like 0, 0, that would be an actual physical location on the map. Probably the center of the map, that would be 0, 0, 0, XY 0, 0. And the AI would just move back to the center of the map after every sound check, which is not what I want. So that's why I've created this function right here. All it does is it takes a Blackboard key as a parameter and it clears it. So clear and setting it to 0 are two different things. So a very big difference that we have to understand between a selector and a sequence is that a selector works as as sort of an if statement or like a conditional block. So it checks whether whatever it's on its left gives a completed or a success output. If it doesn't, it moves to the right. So for a selector, if this works, it's not going to move to the right here. But for a sequence, it's going to run everything from left to right. So first it's going to run this on the left. And there's nothing on the right, so it's not going to run anything else, but we can run something if we would like. So this is essentially what my behavior tree for my AI looks like right now. For both of them. I would like to change this music, it's not good. Alright. Where were we? Right, so if the target actor is not set, I would like to go into this sequence here. So I'll be moving towards the sound, and if there's no sound, I would like to move to some random location. But if this returns false, this condition right here, that the targeted actor is not set, that means the targeted actor is set and the AI has seen it, or seen us instead, we abort out of this tree right here and we move to the right. And here we don't have any conditions set, so it's always going to go into the chase selector. Now what this selector does, once again, it's a selector now, it's not a sequence. So what it's going to do is it's going to run the code on the left first and see if it gives us a success output. Now this condition right here, it says that if targeted actor is set, then you move to the targeted actor. So if targeted actor is not set and you're in here, you go to the last known location, right? You don't abort out of this. So if the targeted actor is not set, you go in here and then you check again if the target actor is not set, is set. So in between these two conditions, the AI must have seen the player character, right? So if the player character is not set, you come in here. Now there can either be one of two cases. We saw the player character just a bit ago and we have their last known location, so we can move to the last known location, right? Or if we do see the player character, we can just keep chasing him. So we're moving to, this is pretty simple, I didn't write this function, it's built in. We're moving to the targeted actor. That's all this does. So that's my behavior tree right here, and that's how my AI works. Now I have turned something off while I was debugging my code the last time, but I can't seem to remember what it was exactly. Maybe it's something in the tasks, right? The find player, that is here. Oh, maybe it's the move to random location. Yeah, there we go. So this function, I turned it off. Now that we have it turned on, let me just show you guys what the AI sees really quick. So everything green you see here is where the AI is moving to. These are the random locations. And if you look at this thing right here, the targeted actor that says none, it's going to update once they see me, right? And these are all the variables that we saw in the behavior tree and the Blackboard. This is my last known location, the self actor that's not in the Blackboard per se, but it's the AI character. Then we have the sound location, which is invalid right now, so that's what clear means. It's invalid, it's not a 0, 0, 0, okay? And then we have the targeted actor, that's going to be the player character. Okay, so let's see this right here. So the AI is following me because, as you can see, once again, right here, they see that it's me, the targeted actor, the first person character. Right. So what I'm going to try to do is just quickly get it out of their field of vision. We should be able to see the field of vision if I do this. There we go. So now this is their field of vision. The green lines you see, that's their field of vision. I'm going to pick this up. These are some orbs that I've added into the game that increase my sprint rate. So as you can see, we are out of the field of vision for now. And since I'm out of the field of vision, they went to the last known location. If I go back to my tree right here, as you can see, they can't see me. So they have resorted to this selector. And since they don't hear a sound, the sound is not set, I haven't made any sounds yet, they are going to move to a random location. This is the function they're running, this guy right here. What it does is it creates a radius around the AI, and it gives and it takes an acceptance radius. This is just something that I've hard-coded in, so it's like a 5. I don't know the exact units, meters, I suppose. And if it's success, we return success, and if it's if this doesn't work, we return false. And this return success and false is what the behavior tree here uses. So if I return false from any one of these functions, these tasks that I'm running, I'm going to come out of this selector here. It's going to return false. I'm going to come out of the selector, and I'm going to go in here now. But if it's success, it's going to keep going in here. That's fine. So as you can see, they are moving to random locations. I would like to, let's see. I want to run the tree along with the game so you guys can see what's happening. There we go. Here's our tree. But I can't seem to run the game at the same time. Let's see what I can do about this. Maybe this? Right. Perfect. Okay. So just bear with me here. I know the screen's really small. Let's see, what can I do about this? Something like this. And then pull up the second screen. I think this should work. So just keep looking at the left. You can see what the AI is doing. So I'm just gonna run away real quick. So this is so since there are 2 of them, we have 2 instances of the behavior tree. It seems like the one that we can see graphically is the one for this little guy, not the big guy. So what I'm going to do really quick is remove the big guy from the game, so he doesn't bother us. Bye-bye. Alright, let's play it again. Go to our behavior tree, and let's see. Let me pick up the stamina thing. So right now, our AI is moving to a random location because it doesn't know where we are. Let's turn this on. Turn on the perception, and look at that. Our targeted actor is none. That means the AI doesn't know where I am. It hasn't seen me yet. And since it hasn't seen me, it goes into the selector, it goes into the sound check selector, and since the sound is not set, it goes to move to random location. And while moving in the random location, it found me, and now I am set. So as you can see on the right, on the left, at the behavior tree, he is moving to my location because I am set in the blackboard. Gonna move really quick out of his field of vision, somewhere around here, and I'm out. So that's the last known location. The green orb you see, that's the last known location. Look at him. He's gonna go to that location now. Maybe he did already. Let me see. Alright, I'm out. Look at that. He was moving to the last known location, so he's not gonna go to the last known location exactly. He's gonna go to the point that he can see the last known location. Right? Alright. Where are these songs coming from? These are not good. Yeah, so this is pretty much all I've made so far. It's been a day or 2 since I've been working on Unreal. Oh yeah, I have added GUI as well. I don't know if you guys saw that. Wait, where is it? There, turn it off. So once the game starts, I would like to add all of this stuff. Huh, this should be working. Add it. Oh, I didn't add it to the viewport, did I? Alright, just like that. I was debugging something last night. There's some kind of an issue with Unreal Engine where the print strings don't work sometimes, and trying to figure out how to fix that was really annoying. Okay, so in the top left you can see the GUI. We have a health bar, we have a stamina bar, and I added a random flashlight as well. What the hell is this song? Okay. And yeah, that's pretty much it. I wanted to add some more code for the gun, but this is the default gun that comes with the game, and I don't really like it. I'm going to do a complete overhaul for the gun. What I did work on was, if you go into the weapon, no, if you go into the first person character, blueprints, this guy right here, this is what I worked on. So once I left click with the gun in my hand, what I do is I shoot out this bullet, and instead of adding the functionality for collision detection in all the AIs, what I did instead is I added the functionality for the collision detection inside the bullet itself. So once it hits anything, it checks whether the thing or the collision box that it hit has a tag called headshot. If it does, what it does is it takes the basic damage, the base damage, that is this variable right here. I've defined it for 25, and it multiplies it by a headshot multiplier. That's an integer value. I have set it at 2 by default. So what it's going to do is it's going to take the damage and it's going to multiply it by 2, and it's going to apply it to the collision or the actor that has the collision box attached to it. And if it doesn't, all it's going to do is it's going to take the normal value and it's going to, all it's going to do is it's going to take the normal value and just add it to the apply damage function. Otherwise, it's going to multiply it by the headshot multiplier, as you can see right here. And at the end, in either case, I want to destroy the bullet, so just destroys it as soon as it hits something. That's the code for the bullet. And what that gives us is I would like you to stand very still. So let's just yeah, I'd have to go to the controller to do it. Let me just, not that, my bad. I would like to go to the event graph and just turn this off so it doesn't run the behavior tree. That's the easier way to do it. So the AI shouldn't move now, and I can show you guys how this works. So if I hit it on the body, it's going to show up as 25 HP damage. But if I headshot him, it's going to show up as 50 because that's multiplied by 2. So the base damage for the bullet is 25. You headshot him, that gives you 25 multiplied by 2, that's 50. So 50 HP of damage. Congratulations. That's not good. Oh yeah, okay. So that's because I turned off the behavior tree, and on sense, it's trying to call some function from the behavior tree. Oh, that's fine. We can get that fixed. Right here. Where is the controller? Did I turn off the controller? Let's just put this back in. Just like that. And it shouldn't give me that error again, hopefully. Let's turn on the flashlight. Oh, what I would like to implement now is a battery system for the flashlight. I mean, it's going to be the same functionality as this orb thing that I'm picking up. Let's look at the code for the orb. We have power-ups, and this guy's the power-up right here. So the code for the power up is pretty simple. All it does is on component overlap, it casts the other actor into a first person character, or blueprint for the first person character. And if it succeeds, we increment the speed. We call a function called increment speed, and we destroy the actor. Alright, and if it's not, we just print that it's not the player character. I should really remove this because if the AI runs over the power up, it's going to print that, which is not good. Alright, let's run this. Actually, let me show you the function that it runs on successful overlap with the player character. So if you're the player characters, this is the code for the stamina. I wrote it entirely myself. I didn't look it up at all, and I'm very proud of it. It's good code, trust me. It's very optimized. Okay, this is the flashlight logic. It's pretty simple. Why did you do that? Okay, where is it? Yeah, the power-ups right here. So if I go here, there we go. So once this function is called, all I do is I multiply my running speed multiplier by 2, and that's it. I don't need this. You know what? I'm going to, yeah, I have to do something about this. Let's go. Let's just keep it as is for now. What I'm going to do is I'm going to add some functionality inside of it, so that it shows up in the GUI instead.
understand your hatred for the principal and her administrators. I've seen the way they treat you. Worse than a piece of dried up dog shit.
Thanks.
Hello kids, I'm back. Alright, where were we? Okay, so the next thing I would like to add is the functionality for a GUI alert when we pick something up, right? So if you pick something up, I would like to show it up on the screen. If this is my player character, this is my screen, and I pick something up, I would like it to show it up like this. You picked up X, or X can be whatever we picked up. So this remains the same. This is a variable. Now how do we do that? I don't know how to do this part. I can do this part though. I know how to do this. So this is going to be fun. What the hell am I listening to? Damn it, I missed a good one. Never mind. Don't want to play this. This gets me like insta banned. My live stream is gonna shut down if I play this. Let's go here. IK is pretty cool. Okay, so in my GUI or GUI, I would like to make a widget blueprint. Oh, you know what? I bet I can put it in here. Right? So let me zoom in a bit. And I would like to move this a bit further away from where it is right now. Just a bit. Not like that. Let me get the size position right there. That much. I think that much makes sense. Take the center. Alignment is 0.5.5. Make this a bit bigger. Place it here. Let me go to the anchors. Place it at the center. Where did my anchor go? I would like to put these at 0. So I'm still need to just put it at the center of the cam. Oh, it did. Isn't that perfect? Okay. Just let me move it. Right. Somewhere around here. So this text just changes if the flashlight's turned on. And I would like to anchor it at the center of... Okay, I think I got it. So 0 here, 0 here. Now I can move it with the anchor, right? No, that's not how it works. I forgot, I don't know. I'll have to look it up. Give me a second. So for this guy, the anchor is right here. For this guy, the anchor is right here. Actually, the anchor doesn't even matter, to be honest. This is supposed to be here. It's supposed to be anchored to this line. So what this essentially means, this anchor thing right here, is if I increase the size of my screen, as you can see, the text stays anchored to that left part of the screen, right? So it expands with respect to these the position of the anchor. Okie dokie, put it on the same line, and I'd like to move it a bit further out from the flashlight. It's too close for my liking. Give me some granular control here, mate. Right here, maybe. I think that makes sense. Make it a bit bigger. There we go. Perfect. I think that makes sense. Okay, so every time you pick something up, I would like it to show up here, or maybe that's where the map goes. How about here? Yeah, here makes sense. Or so I'm expecting to add a chat thing in here as well. So that will go somewhere around here. Let's add the picked up items here then. That would make more sense. Would it? Yeah, right. I don't know. It'll make sense as we go along. Alright, so once you pick something up, it should show up here. and there can be multiple instances of things that you pick up. So that is going to be tough actually, to make it so that everything that you pick up shows up here in a queue of sorts. And the most recent thing you pick up is at the bottom here, while the other stuff keeps going up. And after a certain threshold of like 3 to 4 items that you've picked up in the queue, it just fades away, and the next stuff gets added. That is how it should go in theory, but I don't think I know exactly how to do that yet. So instead, what I'm going to do is I'm just going to make it a simple line of text that says you picked up, and I'm going to dynamically load the item that you picked up into the text here. Let's see. Let's make this as we go along. Let's make this as we go along, bro. Okay. So this is a rich text block. Where are the poor text blocks, man? Editable text. So that's editable by the user, not by me, I believe. Let's try a rich text block. So I want to see what this is all about. Let's call this RTB pickup item text. Okay. Oh, you know what? You know something that can be pretty cool if you implement it. So once you pick something up, it places a 3D text on the map that says you picked something up. So instead of it showing up in a 2D plane here on your GUI, what it does instead is if I pick this up, it's going to delete this, so it's going to disappear, and in its place it's going to show a text that says you picked up XYZ. Would that look good, or would it look janky? What do you guys say? There's no one in chat? Damn. Chat, is this real? I feel like this is a cop. If I try to do it that way, if I'm just trying to show a text on the blueprint or the asset, I don't think that would make sense. I think the only reason that I'm even considering that as an option is because I know how to do that, as compared to going through the long ass process that's going to be adding it to the user interface. But you know what? I am trying to learn, so I'm going to go for the harder one. That's going to be this guy right here, adding it to the user interface. Okay, so this guy is on the top left. Let me just zoom in and bring it down here. Right there makes sense. Let's get the anchor and place it somewhere here, so it scales with the bottom left corner of the screen. Perfect. Now what is this going to look like? By default it's going to be nothing, but for now I'm going to add a text called place order text. Interesting, that did not seem to work. That is not working. Let's just go with the normal text block because I know how that works. Let's go for normal text blocks, add it to our canvas, and it's going to be in the top left. Let's bring it down. Come on. Come on, you know you want to come down here. There we go. Okay. I have the text block right here. I'm going to add an anchor point to the bottom left. So once again, now if I try to scale the UI with bigger screens, the text block is going to stay at the bottom left. Right? So that's because I want to make sure that the text block always stays at the bottom left. If I didn't have the anchor point here, I just want to show you guys how this works, because if I show you guys how it works, it helps me as well because I get to understand it in my own words, right? So if I try to scale it now, it looks like the same thing, but it's really not. If I scale it from this point right here, so as you can see now it's going out of the screen because that's how it's scaling. As you can see right here, that's because the anchor pointer is right here, so it's trying to anchor it to the same distance, right? It's taking the distance between the two objects, and it's trying to maintain that distance in different aspect ratios. So let's try to keep it right here. That's where it makes the most sense, and give it a default text for something like picked up. So it's just going to show you what you picked up. I do not like the next song that's about to come up. Let's see. Give me something good, eh? That's a pretty good playlist. I like this playlist. Alright. So this is what it's going to look like at the beginning. Let me just compile this, make this variable. Actually, I don't have to be honest. Yeah, I don't have to do it. If we do, I'll come back and I'll explain it. Why we need the is variable check for certain features or text that we add. But for now, let's just leave it as is, and let's name it something like text box picked up item text, and let's give it camel case because I'm not a savage, not a caveman here. So if I try to play the game now, as you can see on the bottom left, we can see that I have picked up something, but I haven't actually picked up anything yet. Instead, what that means is we have the placeholder text showing. Okay, so once the game's running, we would probably have to implement the logic in the player character blueprint as well as in every item that we pick up. So for every item that we pick up, we call an event. This is how I'm imagining it's gonna go. Just hide this super quick. Oh wow. Give it a solid color fill of black. The outlines, wow. There we go. Let's make that white. Okay, so here's how I'm imagining it. So we would have a block or some kind of pickable item, right? So this item would have a collision detection around it, something like this, and we would have a player character, and on collision of their hitboxes, so if we have some, I'm gonna draw this a different color. So if, wow, that's not a different color. What? Why do they all look the same? Am I even changing colors? What? Am I colorblind? Okay, that makes sense. So once we have an intersection, something like this, I'm gonna do a different color for this. So now that we have an intersection right here, that means we have hit something. So instead of putting the logic for detecting what we have hit as a player character, instead of writing the logic in here, what I'm going to do is I'm going to write the logic in here. That's because as a player character, you're going to be running into a lot more things, and the checks for whether the thing that you're running into is this guy right here are going to add up over time, right? So as a player, you run into other enemies, you run into other players, you run into walls and stuff like that. So instead of checking it, so if I put the check inside the player character, it's going to be bad for the game overall, because it's going to be performing that check for everything that you run into. Whereas if I put it in this guy right here, I'm only going to be checking it every time the player runs into the thing, because this thing is going to be stationary, right? That makes sense. So what's going to be in here? In here, I'm going to check if hit, so if the collision box that we have hit is my player character. If it is, I would like to raise, or if there's a flag or an event, I'd like to raise an event that tells the player you picked up me. You picked up a player character. Wow. I'm just gonna stick to the brush. You picked me up. Now this me right here, we're gonna have to convert it into a string. A string that we store inside every consumable object that can be picked up, or any pickable item. We could hardcode it, to be honest. No, that's going to be annoying. That's going to be very annoying. So let's start. As of right now, I only have 2 pickable items. Now, here is a point at which I am very like concerned about, because I want to work with interfaces, because interfaces make a lot of sense for some of the things that we're doing here. So if you go into AI, if I go into my blueprints, you can see that I have 2 enemy blueprints right now. We have a major enemy and a minor enemy, and most of the functionality inside both of them are exactly the same, right? So you have the same on damage, almost the same on damage. Actually, it is the same thing, but the damage variable is going to be different for both of them, and the health variable as well. So let's say the minor enemy right here has 100 HP, but the big boy enemy, let me just close these, taking a lot of space. There we go. So if you go into the major enemy, you're gonna notice it's the same freaking code, right? It's the same thing. You can't even tell I'm switching between these. I mean, they are moved around a bit, but it's the same thing. Let's look at Deathmech right here, and if I go here, it's the same thing we did, right? So it's redundant code. I have the same code in 2 different classes that's doing the exact same thing but with different variables. So why can't I just create a superclass for my enemy objects, or my enemy classes, that implements all of these same functions, right? That would make a lot of sense. So if I'm working with something that's like in VS Code, I mean, if I'm working with an IDE, what I'm trying to say is, if I'm working with a text editor for my code and I'm working on C++, I would have some kind of a class, right? And this class would implement my on death functionality, right? This is the super class, so I'm gonna call it super. That's already taken, so super class. Super is a reserved word, I think. So on that, I do this dot, or actor dot kill, or whatever, right? Whatever the functionality for on that is. But what I need for that is a pointer to the actor object that I'm trying to destroy. So on in my subclass that is implementing that, let's call it child class 1, that I'm inheriting from the super class. Let's make it public as yeah, sure, let's make it public. So if I'm doing something like this, and I'm trying to inside my class main, if I create an object of child class 1, C1. If I do this, right, and I do C1 dot on set C1, right? I could use the this keyword, but you understand what I'm trying to say, right? You get the gist of it. We don't have the this keyword in the blueprints, so I'm using a parameter for a reference. I would like to send a pointer to a reference, so let's say ampersand here. So I'm setting the address of my C1 object that's going to be stored inside this guy right here, and then I'm going to kill that actor, or I'm going to do whatever functionality I want to do with it. That would make sense, right? That would make sense, because then I can have another class that's going to be the child class 2. It can have its own functionalities that's going to be different from child class 1. It's going to have its own variables, right? Variables for this guy and variables and variables for that guy, right? But in blueprints, you can't do this. You can't send a pointer to an actor and then access specific variables from within that actor, right? So if I have a variable called int health here, that's like 50, and I have a variable called int health here that's equal to 20, and on that I am trying to do, I don't know, actor dot health equals minus equals 50. If I'm trying to do this, it's not going to work. It doesn't work on blueprints. I don't know why, because this makes a lot of sense, right? This is how it's supposed to work, but it's not working. It's very annoying. But in all honesty, I think I did figure something out while I was explaining this. So since I am inheriting this class in both of these, and they both have health, instead of accessing health like this, what I can do is define health right here. So I'm going to int health equals whatever, and for these guys, once they're instantiated, there's going to be an on begin play function inside of them that's going to be called. It's kind of like a constructor. It's called every time you create an object of that class or an instance of that class. So what I can do is this dot set, or just this dot health equal to, let's say the first child class is a minor enemy, so it's going to be 100, and for this guy it's going to be this. Why don't I just copy paste, and I can make this guy do 100. Oh, on event begin play, of course. Something like this. So if I can do this, then perhaps I will be able to access actor.help, because once I get this actor right here, I can do actor and cast it back to the super class. Right? I actually believe this might work. Huh. So now that it's casted, I should be able to call actor dot no, so I can do as super class I can call the health variable, and essentially what this is going to do is it's going to give me a reference to the current instance of the class, of the child class. I think this is how it's going to work, so let's try to implement it via functionality here. I'm not going to mess anything previous up. I'm going to create a new folder right here. Let's create it here. I can't. Or can I? I can't. Okay. Let's create a new folder. Call it testing stuff. And in here, I would like to create a blueprint interface. Let's call it test blueprint interface test. And let's create a blueprint class. That's going to be an actor. Let's call it blueprint. I don't know. Let's call it child1. And just copy and paste it right here. And we can call this guy child2. Alright. Let's go inside our interface and rename this function. Let's rename it to something like, I don't know, show health. Right? Compile that. And now right, so you can't even declare variables inside interfaces. God damn it. I might be able to do something like this then. I do see an output thing right here. So let me just go here and try to visualize it. I would have a function. I would have a function that takes my actor and it takes the health as input, and it returns health again. Would that work? So what are the parameters that I'm taking right now? So on damage, I'm taking the damage as a parameter, and that's about it. Since I can't work with a reference to self, I won't be able to kill self, so I'd have this branch. Okay. I would need to access the health. The damage, that's done. And I would return a boolean that tells me whether I have no, this check would still remain here. This is going to stay here. So the output that I'm getting here is going to be via the function. Interesting. Okay, so let's try to get this working. Do I even need the reference then? Do I need the reference? Good question. I'm not accessing it at all. I do not like this song. It's not helping me think. Don't like this one as well. You know which one I do like? It's this one. Yeah. Okay. So it's just a simple function that takes the health and damage and returns the damage to me, or the health to me after subtracting the damage. Interesting. And then I can check back in the function that called the interface. That is going to work. I think that is going to work. So it's going to work for the on damage function. Now the question is, will it work for the other functions that I'm... Goddamn, that's not good. Don't do that. Boop. Align this to this. Perfect. Let's move it a bit closer. I don't know why it's so far away. That's why it's so far away. Got it. Let's move this closer then. Move this closer. This is as close as it gets. There we go. Alright. I would have to overhaul all of this. So I guess I need to edit my description to tell you guys what I'm doing. I'm overhauling my AI code, or my blueprints at least. Alright, so I have a death mech that's exactly the same. I don't think it needs any changes. I have a set ragdoll that also looks the same, to be honest. I have an on damage that we already went through, and now we have the health mechanic. Yeah, this one's a bit of a doozy because I have this health bar widget right here. That's going to be this thing. I need to update this as well. Where is it? I can't find the playlist that I'm looking for. There we go. Found it. Let me go. We can delete the testing stuff later. For now, I'm gonna go into AI. I'm gonna go into blueprints, and I'm going to create a new interface here. That's going to be blueprint interface. Universal functions. That's the best I could think of. And then I need a class that's going to be... I want a class that doesn't have to exist on the scene to be created. So I guess I'm looking for something that's going to be... No, let's just go with an actor for now. I won't put it on the scene. I just want to see how this is going to work. Going to the event graph. Now that raises the question, why do I even make it an interface then? Why can't I just make it a class and inherit it? Right? Good question. I don't see any long-term benefits making it an interface other than the fact that it's going to really declutter everything because I know what functions are supposed to be in here, right? Yeah, I mean, honestly, it doesn't make too much sense, but it's fine. So I'm gonna go compile this first. I didn't name it, my bad. Let's name this bpi underscore, no, it's a bp underscore bpi universal functions implements. So let's go here, here. Okay. Now let's go into our class settings and import this interface. It's going to be BPI universal functions right here. Now I would like to add all the functions that are in here. Event on damage. What did I call the event? I don't even remember. Where's universal functions? Right here. I didn't name it yet. Perfect. Let's call it on damage. And this is going to be a function, right? All right, so this is in our interface. Now I'm creating a definition for it. So let's add the function, add some parameters here. It's going to take a float as input. That's going to be the current health of the player. It's going to take another float. That's going to be the damage dealt. And then it's going to return the damaged health, just like that. That's going to be a float as well. That's how my function is going to work. I'm going to give it the health, I'm going to give it the damage, and it's going to return the damaged health to me. All right. Now if I go in here, compile it. Where is the return? How do I return? Return. Add return results terminal. What the hell does this do? Let me implement this again. Maybe it's going to give me the return on that. Compile it again. Let's go into our universal functions. It's compiled. It went on damage. Where is my function? No. My function. Let's go to class settings. Remove this bind right here. Try to implement it again. Let's see if that fixes it. Or graph which conflicts with the function on damage in the interface. What function do you have, mate? Let's try to compile it again and try it again. BPI, universal functions. BPI implement BPI universal function has a function or a graph which conflicts with the function on damage. Right, so I believe it's the return statement that's causing the issue, isn't it? Let me try removing the output. Let's see if this works now. Try to add BPI universal function. It works now. Interesting, interesting. Okay, let me look it up. Let me look up why this is happening. Interface returns a value. So Unreal Engine interface returns a value. Can't implement it in actor class. Oh, is it possible that the name of the function is overriding with the on damage function? What does this take? On damage. That's fine. That's the one that I made. Where's the one that's in the engine that's predefined? On damage. Event any damage. That's any damage. Mine's on damage. Two very different things. So I'm not overriding some kind of a non-overridable function, right? This should work. Should it not? Now, if I go into here and do event on damage, it won't show up again. Interesting. So if I go into one of my AIs here, can I call on damage? Yes, I can, and it does return the new health to me. Interesting. So I just can't implement it here. Maybe it's because this is an actor class. That's my hypothesis for now. You know what? When in doubt, just go to Stack Overflow. I'm working on blueprints with blueprints in the Unreal Engine 5.2, and I would like to create an interface that returns a that takes two parameters as arguments, health and damage. The function then returns a float new health, but when I implement this function or this interface inside an actor blueprint, it causes an error that says the function in the interface. Actually, no, I don't want to provide that information to them, but it gives me an error when I try to implement this function inside an actor class. Why? Let's look at the output log. Let's see. No, I don't want to implement it. Actually, let's try implementing it here, just to see what happens, you know? That's BPI. Oh no, not that one. BPI universal functions, right? compile, save, and then we do event on damage. No, it won't work. So event on damage. No, it's not showing up. Not showing up once again. Alright, let's try something. Instead of making this an actor class, let me just copy the name really quick. I do not want to write that again. Let's create a new blueprint. And let's make this a pawn controller. A player controller is an actor responsible for controlling a pawn used by the player. Sure. I just need a controller. Let's see if we can find any good controllers that are specific to our need. Controller, AI controller, good path controller, player controller, level sequence, media controller. Level sequence. No, not cinematic. That's not what I'm looking for. Scene component, primitive component. Oh, these are components. I'm looking for a controller. These are all the controllers we have. I guess we're going for a player controller then. That makes the most sense. Let's call it PPC. Blueprint controller. Universal functions. So implements universal functions. Let's go in here. Interesting. So we do get a viewport. I think this isn't going to work either, to be honest. Let's see. Let's go to class settings. Implement our BPI universal functions. Compile. Event on damage. No, didn't work. Which one is going to work? Spray pawn. It has a viewport as well. I have reasons to believe it won't work either, but let's see. BPI, universal functions, compile, event on damage. Nope. Oh. Interesting. So I guess it was there the entire time, wasn't it? Let's delete that, and then we delete that. You know, I'm still not sure if the actor one's going to work. You know why? Because an actor component only gets space in memory. It only gets initialized, instantiated, if it exists on the scene. So what we're doing is we're creating a class, and that class only gets an object that can call its functions if it exists on scene. So if it has an object of itself. Let's see how this works. We'll go to class settings, go to interfaces, get BPI universal functions, compile, drag this out. No, not that, drag this out. Interesting. Let's... No, this calls the function. It doesn't define it. Not good. Event on damage. No. Event on damage. No. Well, I'm stuck in a rut again. This should have been working. I mean, it works in theory. It is supposed to work. If I can get any of the blueprints to recognize this function, which they're not doing if I have a return node attached to it for some reason. Why? So we can't implement it in an actor. We can't implement it in a pawn. We can't implement it in a player controller. What about an actor component? Let's try. I have a feeling this might work. Nope, not working. Let's see if I remove the return node. Compile. Try again. Yeah, it shows up now. Shows up now. That's just a call to itself. Why is that not working with the return function? With the return parameter, I have no idea. If I can get this to work, I can really optimize my code, you know? Like right now I only have 2 enemies, so I have 2 different redundancies of my code, or a single redundancy of my code. But if I'm working with like 50 enemies on the scene, that's what, like, I don't know, 600-700 more lines of code that's being processed. Not good. That's not what I'm looking for. And the actor component isn't working either. So who can implement this? Let's see. Create child blueprint class. Sure, let's try. Oh, it's just another interface. Can't work with that. Preview equivalent C++ header. Yeah, I know what that class would look like. Sure, let's look at the documentation. Ouch. No documentation? Damn. Let's try to look for interface. There we go. I just want to get to the interface path, to be honest. No, it says the editor interface. The user interface programming. There we go. Interfaces. That's good. I know how this would work with code, bro. I want to know how it works with blueprints. Boohoo. What do I look for? You know what? I might just have to watch a video. Watch with me, guys. This is how we learn.
Hello, welcome to video 4. What is, does, implement, hit play.
No, I know how this implement works.
Interface. There is no blueprint to allow something to take damage, like a tree or those objects, and anytime something hits them that can cause damage, they can check and see if they can take damage. For our example, if I run it through quickly, the red one shows cannot take damage on the bottom right, and the green one, the same thing. That's because we have not set up our interface. Right click on our content browser, go to blueprint, go to blueprint interface. We'll call this BPI underscore damageable and open it up. By default, this is what you see with one generically named function. We will change this to custom damage event, and we will put one input of type integer called damage amount that we will use to determine how much damage we will do. That's it.
Oh, add an output, bro.
Interface. Or third person.
I know how it works without an output. Let's try this.
Blueprint interfaces are an essential concept in
Alright, I know it's an essential concept. Just show me how the output works.
Much about what's going on here. All that's happening is it's when I casting, or if you know about casting in general.
Right, okay.
The only way to really go about adding our chair to this interaction code is we'd have to come off of cast failed, and then we'd have to go cast to BP underscore chair, and then we'd have to call its interact function if it succeeded, and then now we added in a switch, so we have to come off of this and cast to BP underscore, or a button rather. And this is just bad. First of all, this is really badly unoptimized. Casts are actually expensive because they create what's known as a hard reference, meaning they're always loaded. And also, if you think about it, if you go up to the button, it has to first check all these other casts before it gets to the button. But besides those aren't even my biggest problems with this. The biggest problem is that anytime you want to add a new interactable object, you got to come into here, you got to go to your humongous nest of casts, and you got to add in the new object. And that's just not modular, it's not scalable, it's not practical. So to get around doing this, we're going to use a blueprint interface. So I'm just going to delete these, and we're going to hop out of here for a minute and go into the content browser. I'm just going to go into the folder I made. And to create a blueprint interface, what you do is you right-click, go to Blueprints, and Blueprint Interface. Now I'm going to name this BPI underscore interactable, and then we're going to double-click to open this. Now, I feel like this is where people who are new to blueprint interfaces get confused. This is just a read-only graph. It really doesn't serve any purpose other than to show you what your events and functions look like. You can't add anything in here, and that's actually kind of the point of blueprint interfaces, as we'll see. All a blueprint interface is a list of declared functions and events. We take our blueprint interfaces, we put it on a class, and it will now have those events. Then we define the functionality for those events in the class for which this interface is on. If that's confusing, don't worry, we're going to do it right now. So we start off with the class player. It's going to be Boolean, and we're going to name the Boolean interactable. So one thing real quick to note about interfaces is anytime you declare a function and it doesn't have an output, it's going to show up as an event, as you'll see in a minute. And anytime you do have an output, it's going to show up as a function, which should make sense because events don't have return nodes and functions do. But anyway, enough talking. Let's be interacting. Now we're going to add that interact interface to this door here, and you have and you'll see to do that we're going to need a reference to our player, so I'll just you don't do the magic right now. In the first person character, you might be thinking, okay, great, I still have to cast to my door in order to access that interaction event. But actually, you don't. If you drag off this generic hit actor and you type in on interact, you'll get that interact interface call. And then for interacting player, we can pass in self. And that's it. That's all you have to do. Now you can just take that interface, put it on any item that's interactable, define its functionality inside of it, and you never have to touch any of this code. There's no need for nested casts, none of that. This is done. The only time you would have to edit this is if you wanted to add new features entirely to the interact system itself. So like if you wanted to have a prompt on screen that, says press F to interact with object, then you might need to add some stuff here, which would also involve adding new events and whatnot to your interface. But I'm getting a little off topic. The point is, this will work, and it will work for any object that we put the interface on. You might be thinking, well, what if the hit actor that comes through here doesn't have an interface? And the answer is nothing. It just won't do anything. You can, if you need to check, you can go in and you can do does implement interface, which will, and you have to select this class drop down, go BPI underscore interactable. And now you have this Boolean where you can branch and you can check if a given object implements an interface. Put that right here if we want. It won't make any difference. No, we also had this. I'm going to get rid of it. So if I go here, I go branch, and this could open them and they stay open. And we have this interactable variable right here. We'll set it to true. And if I compile, hit play, interact with them again. Out of war, you can walk up to them, open them, and they stay open, and you don't have to interact with them again. Something like that. And we'll plug that in there. So now if we go back to our door and we click on this is interactable function, you'll see we have this interactable variable right here. We'll set it to true. And if I compile, if we go back to our door and we click on
Boo-hoo. Wasn't that so hard? I mean, wasn't that hard? Anyway, so this is how you access the function. We learned something new today. Congratulations. So if you have an interface that implements a function that has that, so if you have an interface that has a function that returns some kind of a value, it is treated as a function, not as an event, as it would if it didn't have a return node. Since this does have a return node, this is the actual event graph right here. I deleted the events from here. Anyway, so I can define the on damage for this specific class here. This changes a lot of things. This changes a lot of things because instead of just sending the damage, now I can just send a reference to self. Or interesting. So I could just send it. Oh shit! So this should work now. This thing, the this.health, this should work now instead of just sending the health, right? Perfect. This is perfect. This is exactly what I was looking for. Or is it? Let's think about this a bit more. I still can't cast it, right? Yep, I cannot cast it unless I declare or define the functions inside the blueprint for each enemy. But at that point, what's the use? I'm doing the same thing. I'm just creating a function, right? I'm just creating a function that has the same functionality inside it. That's not how it's supposed to work. Let's think about this a bit more. Still thinking. Give me a second. Mm, I think the health thing that we were working with would make sense here, would make more sense here right now. Hmm. If I have a function, and if I overwrite the function or implement the function in every class, right? So each class has its own specific definition of the function. That means I can cast it. And if I cast it back into actor, huh? It does declutter the code itself. It declutters it, definitely. But I just don't see the value in doing that. I don't know why. I just don't see it because I'm going to be redefining the code inside the blueprint. Uh, anyways, right? So right now, if I have the code right here like this, what's going to happen is I'd have the same code. I would call a function from here, and I would have the same code inside a function here, right? So from this event, I call a function, the function's in here, and it just runs. So it's still inside the same class. Hmm. It would be a best practice, definitely, right? It's a best practice. You are supposed to decouple your code and the logic from each other. If we go the way that I'm trying to get it to go through, and we try to implement the set ragdoll thing here, it's going to take a mesh as a target. So I would have to send the mesh itself as a parameter, right? And if I send this guy as a parameter, mm, this is interesting. I'll have to think about it before I start implementing it. I'm willing to take this entire project really, really slow and just make sure that I'm learning things and I'm implementing them in the best way that I know how. And I would really, really like to implement my enemy logic like this, where I just have a single class that has all the functionality inside it, and it takes generic objects as parameters and manipulates or modifies them through pointers rather than working with the same code inside each of the functions that each of the classes that I'm creating. Because that's just going to be very, very redundant and unoptimized. And that's one of the things that I hate the most in modern video games, the redundant code and unoptimized logic. So I guess that's it for today. Not a very productive day, to be honest. All we did was we learned about how the interfaces and functions work, but that is something that we learned. It's a concrete thing. It's a concrete thing that we have learned, and I think that amounts to something, right? Okay, we'll be taking this slow. Oh yeah, I I went off on a tangent about the AI interface, and I completely forgot about this thing that we were working on, the picked up item thing. That's going to be easy. Um, right. So honestly, there should be an interface for this as well, if I'm being honest here. If I go to first person, but just to create a proof of concept, what I'm going to do is I'm going to give my object a string that's going to be name. This is going to be a string, and on overlap, if it's true in either case, what this is not what I'm supposed to be inside. Delete that, compile it back. I'm supposed to be inside the power-ups, which would be here, here, here. There we go. Delete. Oh no. Let's delete that. And let's add a new variable that's called name. That's going to be a string. Nope, not a text, a string. Okay, and let's compile it and set its value to speed up or speed up orb. Let's call it that. So before destroying the actor, I would like to raise an event or raise a flag that is implemented in my first person character. Let's make it a function, because I need parameters. Can I give parameters to an event? I can. So I don't need this, because I won't be returning anything. The object's going to be deleted by the time we get there. So let's create a custom event, and this event takes name of object as a parameter. That's going to be a string, just like that. And let's call this event picked up object. All right, so if I've picked up an object, let me just go back here really quick. Where is it? Let's close these out. So before destroying the actor, I would like to raise an event on, what did I call it? I forgot already. The name didn't save. Perfect. On item pickup. Compile, save. Come back here. On item pickup. We call it from here. And we pass in the name of the object, just like that. And then we destroy it. Okay, so we need the first person character right here. There we go. Okay, so now we have the name of the object right here. What I want to do is I want to take this GUI object reference. Through this, I want to access the, what did I call it? I forgot. I keep forgetting what I named things. Going to GUI to go to the player, and I called this TB picked up item. All right. Let's go into our first person character and try to get this guy out of here. We can't do that because I have to set, or I have to do something by setting it to widget first, right? Set cast to widget. No, the widget already exists. I have it here. So what can I access? Can I access the other things? Can I access? Wait a second. It's not a variable. That's the problem. It should show up now. Let's get text box picked up item like this. And I want to store, not store, I want to concatenate the text inside it, right? So it's called set, not on this, we need to call it on this. So set text, this guy right here. And what the text is going to be is, before this, I'm going to get text. I'm going to get the text that's inside it. And I'm going to concatenate, concat, how do I concat? The return value is text. This needs text as well. Can I? Okay, so it does that. Give me a second. I really want to concatenate it during runtime and just put it in here rather than create an object, because I know what I can do is I can create an object of type text and set the text like that. Can I? Can I concat append? Oh, we do have append. Perfect. Let's do this. But that's going to convert it into this, and then we can convert it back into a text like that and like that. Right, that should work. A bit iffy, but it works. So what we do is, instead of doing this, let's do it the other way around. I want the existing text first, and then the name of the object that we picked up, and we set it here. And let's just print to our console, pick up event complete, something like this, just so we know that even if this doesn't update, we know we reached here, right? So let me just go in here. Perfect. That works. But what it's doing is it's concatenating this guy first. No, it's doing get display name. I don't need that. It is working fine. Just a second. I need to get text, not to get display name. Concat it with this. Now let's try it. There we go. Perfect. It works. And now we can do the same for the gun as well. If I just assign a name to everything, I can call the function. Did I destroy it? Yes. Let's just align these guys. They're aligned. This guy to this guy. This guy to this guy. Aligned. Align this to this. And let's just do this here. Align this to this. Like that. Delete that. Align this to this. Take a reference to the first person character. Make a breakpoint right here. Align these. And then I just take this and put it in here. Then I can align these as well. Aligned, aligned, everything looks good. Perfect. That's our pickup function. Done. Let's try to clean this up. I'm trying to append. We can get rid of this. We don't need that anymore. Let's stretch that out. Okay. This is referencing these guys, and these guys are referencing that. We have some sort of an entangled situation going on here. Let's align these three first. Oh, you need that. Okay, let's align these two guys. Normally when I have something like this, I like to do that. And then I would like to align these two to this guy. That didn't work. How about align this guy with this guy? Let's pull that in. Oh, it selected both, my bad. Let's pull that in. Align it again. Align these guys. Now I just pull this in here like that. This guy needs to be somewhere in front. This plate makes sense. Then we have a converter that can go here, I believe. This guy. I really like to keep it in a sequential manner so it represents the flow of the code. I'm not gonna put it down there. It did look good, but I can't. I have some rules I have to follow. Alright, align these guys. Push that out. Align these guys. Push this out a little bit. Actually, let's align these. Then bring this down a little bit. Add a breakpoint here. Oh, this is going here as well. Okay, so let's just remove this. Use this point to connect to that. Align these. And then take this reference. Put it in here. That looks good. Just gotta even out the spacing a little bit. Gotta make sure that the white ones are aligned like that. This guy is left. Let's add a breakpoint here. Align it to this guy. And push it a bit further back. Just a bit. Like that. Now I can bring all of this code back here. And then I can bring this stuff back here. This stuff back here. It doesn't make sense for this to be so far away, to be honest. Let's bring this a bit closer to this. Decrease the space between the breakpoint and this. And now I can do this. So if this was actual text, it wouldn't take this long to make it look good, to be honest. As picked up item functionality. Looks like everything's working fine. I'm gonna think about if we wanna work with interfaces or not by the next episode. That's probably going to be tomorrow. I'm not sure yet. But yeah, that's about it for today.